For the last 11 decades, this racing circuit has stood the test of time for the best racers from around the world. Most importantly, this track became the proving ground for one of the most iconic car manufacturers in history. What makes this circuit unique is the different layouts it has presented to spectators over the years, along with the success of the home country constructor at this famous circuit. For many racing fans, much of the history at this track has been worth preserving, making it one of the most iconic racetracks in Europe. In today's installment of Stadium Safari, we will explore the history of the Monza Circuit. Sitting 17 miles north of Milan, the Monza Circuit, or the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, sits in the Royal Villa in Monza, Italy. The track was built in 1922 with a capacity of 118,865 and is a 5.793 kilometer or 3.6 mile asphalt circuit consisting of 11 turns for the road circuit, making it the world's third purpose-built motor racing circuit after England's Brooklands Circuit and the United States' Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The track's most well-known event is Formula One's Italian Grand Prix, or the Gran Premio d'Italia. The construction cost is unknown. In the span of 3 months, from May to July in 1922, 3,500 workers built the Monza circuit under the authority of the Milan Automobile Club, which would later be named the Società Incremento Automobilismo e Sport, or the Motoring and Sport Encouragement Company, who would be the early ownership group of the track. The first variation of the track included a road course and an oval section that intertwined with the road circuit for different events. The banking in the oval section of the track stands at 30 degrees and is 4.25 kilometers, which is 2.64 miles long. From 1922 to the present, the Monza circuit would run 9 different variations for annual Italian Grand Prix. The variations will include the road course, the oval, the road course intertwined with the oval, and the road course with added chicane turns. The changes and variations were done to present a different racing structure to fans who attend the Italian Grand Prix every year. However, the track was not considered the safest circuit to race on. Like many newly built tracks during this era, Monza had a string of driver fatalities from 1922 to 1933. With tracks not having barriers to protect fans, drivers would end up crashing into the stands and trees if they spun out. Even with how the race cars were built in this era, the probability of a driver losing their life was high. The first fatality to take place at the track was Fritz Kuhn, after he spun out during a practice run for the 1922 Italian Grand Prix, the first race to take place at the Monza circuit. In the 1928 Grand Prix, Italian driver Emilio Materassi lost his life in the crash during the race, which ended up killing 27 spectators in the stands. For this reason, Monza would not host the Italian Grand Prix for 2 years in 1929 and 1930. When the race returned in 1931, the track owners made the decision to have the race be run on the oval section of the track. Unfortunately, the track still didn't feel safe enough for the drivers, as in the 1933 Grand Prix, 3 racers died during the race on the oval circuit. Italian drivers Giuseppe Campari and Baccanin Borzacchini and Polish driver Stanislaw Zukowski were the victims on the day that would be known as Black Day in Monza. In total, the track's all-time fatality marker sits at 52 drivers and 35 spectators in sanctioned racing events that would take place at the circuit. In 1934, the track changed variations to the Florio circuit, which included 4 chicane turns to help slow down the cars and decrease the probability of a driver fatality. The Florio circuit would only be used for 3 Grand Prix. Going into the 1940s, there would not be any Grand Prix due to the World War II. The circuit would be used as a military base, which caused parts of the track to be degraded. In 1948, after the conclusion of the war, the track would be renovated and reopened for business for the Italian Grand Prix that same year. In 1950, the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, or the FIA, would become the sanctioning body of Formula One. This would lead to a new era of racing in both the open wheel circuit and at the track in Monza. Enjoying the video so far? If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button to be on the lookout for future videos. The track has seen an assortment of different winners in the modern era of Formula One, but there is one manufacturer that dominated the Monza circuit when Formula One traveled to Italy. This constructor in particular became more than a car manufacturer, but one of the most iconic brands in the world. His innovative spirit and his passion for motorsports would transcend the generations that would follow after him. He went by the name of Enzo Anselmo Giuseppe Maria Ferrari. Born in Modena, Italy on February 18, 1898, A young Enzo Ferrari gained a passion for fast cars after watching his first race at 10 years old. After his family's carpentry business collapsed, he went to find work in the car industry, working at manufacturers such as Fiat and Alfa Romeo. Ferrari would get his start in racing after he was hired as a test driver. After a falling out with Alfa Romeo after World War II, Enzo Ferrari would start his own car company to compete against his Italian counterparts that he worked for as a racer. The car manufacturer known today as Ferrari SPA would be born. But Ferrari wouldn't stop there. He would go on to create his own race team to compete against Alfa Romeo in the Formula One circuit. Scuderia Ferrari would become an unbeatable force in the world of racing. The team's first entry was in 1950 at the famous Monaco Grand Prix, where they would field 3 cars, 2 of them driven by fellow Italian racers Alberto Ascari and Gigi Villoresi, and 1 driven by Frenchman Raymond Samar. In their inaugural season, Ferrari was outbeaten by their rival team, Alfa Romeo, who went on to win 6 out of the 7 races that took place that year, including the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. The following year, Ferrari broke Alfa Romeo's winning streak at the 1951 British Grand Prix. From that point on, Ferrari became the team to beat and a well-known brand around the world. From 1950 to 2021, Ferrari would win 16 constructor championships and 15 driver championships in Formula One, and also went on to win a total of 237 Grand Prix and counting. As for their success at their home track in Monza, the team has currently won a total of 20 Italian Grand Prix, with 19 coming in the Formula One era, making them the all-time leader in wins by a Formula One constructor at the circuit. Although it wasn't just the expertise of Enzo Ferrari to make his team become a powerhouse in Formula One, it was also the talent of the drivers that piloted the Red Stallions. Many of Formula One's greatest drivers have donned the red suit in their careers, including Argentinian Juan Manuel Fangio, Austrian Niki Lauda, American Phil Hill, Finnish Kimi Räikkönen, and 7-time Formula One champion German Michael Schumacher. The success of Ferrari at Monza is accredited to the success of Ferrari across Formula One as a whole. Every year that Monza has hosted the Italian Grand Prix, Scuderia Ferrari fans have come in droves to cheer on their home nation manufacturer. The stands would be a sea of red on race day, with different choreographies taking place in the crowds. The supporters of Ferrari at Monza are known as the Tifosi. From everything to fan support and track maintenance, Monza has remained a mainstay on the Formula One calendar. Enjoying the video so far? If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button to be on the lookout for future videos. For the many Formula One fans who take a trip to Monza, they will be treated with a great racing and fan theatrics from the Tifosi, especially if a Ferrari driver finds their way on the podium. Since its foundation, Monza has improved as a track and provided a safer environment for racers. Since 2000, there has not been a fatality at the circuit during a sanctioned racing event. After the death of Ayrton Senna, Formula One has taken major precautions to allow for safer cars and safer tracks for drivers. Formula One is one of the biggest sports in the world, which also correlates to the Ferrari being one of the biggest brands in the world. Without Monza, the motorsport culture in Italy would be a thing of the past, but with the improvements that have been made over the years and the history that it continues to preserve, the track has a long-lasting future for F1 fans. This concludes today's episode of Stadium Safari. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell to find out about future videos and let me know what stadiums you want to see next. Thank you for watching, and remember, teams tell the stories, the stadiums illustrate them.